Hello, Julieta here from my Cambridge flat, and today we have a 30-minute full class, and I'm going to bring in this idea or theme of expansion. So, for example, in Caribbean Blue, where we do the bubbles, so I've got one bubble, for example, have a feeling of how can we make that move or those moves more expansive. So it might feel like finding a little bit more openness across the chest. It might be that you find more lift. Maybe you make the bubble very big. Maybe you let it go and then, start a new one. Or maybe it's something different for you, but just playing with that feeling of expansion. Okay, let's start with warm up. So we'll breathe in and down, and just tuning into expansion here. In fact, it is a very expanding pose when we begin. So breathing in, we'll do two more. And breathing in. And then tapping. And let's wake up, massage that lower back. Tapping down a bit and up, down a bit. And one more time. And I'll put the music on for bubbles and just have a think about expansiveness as we move to Caribbean Blue. Sunrise. And back relaxer. And roll it. Expand. And back relaxer. And bubbles. And sunrise. And back relaxer. And roll it. diagonals. Very expansive movement. And rolling those shoulders. And head and neck. And finding that beautiful, expansive end pose. Very nice. Okay. So perhaps have a little sip of water, and we will go directly to the balance exercises, starting with our lovely tap tap step. So might be tricky to think how we could be expansive with the tap tap step. See what that feels like to you, to just be a little more expansive. It might be that perhaps you feel more open in the chest. Maybe you take slightly bigger steps. It could be just a sense of more ease. Maybe you hold your arms out, and that can be how you feel more expansive in this exercise. Okay, and let's move now to the tightrope walks. And remember, we can put some backward steps among the frontwards. And as I've just demonstrated, looking straight ahead is very helpful for these. As soon as we start looking, for example, to the screen or elsewhere, it can throw off our balance quite a lot. So keeping the gaze straight ahead, even when we're going backwards, is quite a challenge. And how does expansiveness look with the tightrope walks? Do we walk a little bit taller, maybe? Maybe our arms are out a bit more. Okay, so perhaps grabbing the chair at this point. And most of you won't need it at this point, but can always pop the hands or fingers on the back of the chair here as we come up and down. Now, this may be an interesting time to notice what can feel expansive, what really needs to contract when we're doing balance. It's often the core that needs to contract, the legs need to contract, but actually the top half of the body can be a bit light, can be expansive. And let's hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And perhaps again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And 1 for 10, humming up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I'm going to slow down. I was counting too fast. 2, 1. Okay, great. Okay, and then we'll move to standing on one leg. And again, where can we be a little more expansive? Standing on one leg. Now you may just feel a little change in the body, or it could just be your mind relaxes a bit, and that is the expansion. If you want to be more literal, and you have a relatively stable position here, or, pop the fingers on the chair, go ahead and expand. What does that feel like in the balance? Expand in different directions. See how it feels. And again, there will be things that need to contract, like the core, in order to expand more. Okay, maybe one more. And coming down. And then I always like to shake out a little bit at this point, peeling the heels up. And moving to the other leg, perhaps having the fingers on the chair, perhaps not. Coming up onto one leg. And just tuning into the subtle expansion first. Remember, looking ahead or slightly up makes balance easier in general. And perhaps expanding. Maybe you have one hand on the chair while you play with the expansion. Just expanding in different directions. Moving around. And then coming down. Okay, very nice. So, I thought we could do the sit to stand, which is, naturally quite expansive. We're literally, coming up off the chair. So let's start in a seated position. Do have a little sip of water if you need it. And when we're all ready and seated, I will aim for 8 of these. So hip walking to the front. Level 1 is pushing off the chair. Shuffling back until you feel the chair on your calves. And then level 1 is grabbing the chair as you sit. Level 2 and upwards is crossing the arms. So we're just using those legs. Shuffling back, feeling the chair coming down. That's 2. Now you know what I'm going to say. Can we do this move a little more expansively? And again, just what does that mean to you? Coming down for 3. We're halfway there, so 4 more. Okay, let's try expanding like that. Is that number 5? Okay, coming down. Playing with this expansion. Interestingly, I found that one the easiest when I came up and did this with my arms. I'm not sure why. It's still the legs that are the main thing working here. And one more. Just anyway, any expansive way. Maybe you're subtly expansive. Very nice. Now, since we have the chair, And we've been going, you know, pretty quickly. I think we deserve a little back break, which is our cat cow. Now, I can't put the ball there because I don't have you know, it's a hollow back. But do put the ball, if you would like, behind the small of the back. You don't need the ball. And, you know, really noticing this one has contraction first. Really noticing how it feels to expand. So we'll focus on the expansion element of this one. So breathing in as we expand open, shoulders expand open. Breathing out. Breathing in, expand. And hopefully this has also the element of relaxing out the back. Okay, and since we're here on the chair, let's relax out the back in another way. So we sit on the side of the chair, move towards the back, and move back. And in this one, perhaps there could be a sense of growing taller as you twist. So we'll expand upwards. So just doing that 4 or 5 times, and then coming to the other side of the chair. And doing this 4 or 5 times. And perhaps the expansion is coming up through the spine. Okay, so now we've got our trusty ball. Put the chair to the side, and I'll do this while perhaps you take another sip of water. And after the water, you can join me in some dexterity exercises. Perhaps hand to hand. Some people find it much easier to move while doing this one, rather than, you know, this focuses on the wrists. This is sort of a whole body. You've got some momentum, and throwing and catching. I like to start bouncing it off the walls, but that is a dangerous sort of exercise. So be aware of vases and light fixtures. So let's pulse the ball as well, which is going to work the wrists. And I'm personally tuning into a feeling of expansion across the shoulders here. Part of the reason I find that helpful is I do have a tendency to curl over. So if I think of expanding this, it helps me keep that chest open. But you may find expansion helping you in a different way in this pose. Okay, and let's mobilize the wrist as well. This one might be easier to expand. Perhaps we move the ball a little bit away from us. And since we're here with the nice ball, let's be teapots for a moment. Now where can we, this is an expanding movement. Perhaps we're expanding at an angle, sideways and downwards. And perhaps see if you can feel expansion, not just in this side that's lengthening, but the other side. And changing sides. So we're doing about 8 or 10 of these pulses. So an amazing dance teacher once told me, there are two ways of bending to one side. One way is to collapse completely the side, and the other way is to actually keep some life, some expansion in that side as you curl over. So that is what we're aiming for, is not collapsing that side completely, but bringing in a sense of stability here. It has the added effect of making the waistline work a little harder, which is nice. Okay, so we're done with the ball, so we will grab the band. Okay, so I've got a green one today, but yours may be red or yellow or all sorts of colors. And standing on one, the band is under one foot, thumb towards shoulder, and we've got the bicep curl. So what could be more expansive in this very contracting pose? I'm feeling contraction in the core. My jaw could find more expansion, which to me feels like it lets go. So jaw does not need to be fierce and firm here. So what does expansion feel like in this pose? All right, and changing sides. Maybe the breath is a little more expansive, even while we're working so hard. Okay, and then we've got to do this one if we've got the theme of expansion. So arms straight, and then we breathe in, open the arms, and close. Breathe in, open the arms, and close. Enjoying that expansion. Maybe 3 more. Okay. Now hanging onto this band for a second, doubling it up, and we'll grab both ends of the band and bring those shoulders back. And coming down and pulling back again. Do keep looking to the front while you do this, i.e. the front of your body. It's not so great to twist the neck like I do, so ignore me as I look at the screen. So really the pose is looking straight ahead. And hopefully that has caused more space to appear in your shoulders. We're going to move to the Tai Chi. I'll put a little bit more music on, so in this last 5 minutes we'll do Tai Chi and stretch, and you may want to have another sip of water before we go. Okay, just trying to find the music. There we go.
Suddenly before my eyes
music is not behaving. Breathing in. I'm just going to leave it. Breathe in. And then let's breathe in and hugging the tree. Breathing in. Expand. One more of these, and we'll be the wave. Or play with the idea of being the wind in this movement. Talk about expansion. If we're the wind, how does that feel? Same movement, but we're wind rather than an ocean wave. And changing sides. Okay, coming to center, breathing in as we come up and out as we come down. Okay, and then we will hug that giant beach ball or giant tree. It's not such a giant tree, is it? We can get our hands around it, so medium-sized tree. And then coming to the open chest stretch. And we'll make one arm heavy, the other arm up. Other arm heavy, opposite arm up. We've got a bit of time to go to the wall, so let's go to the wall and do our lovely stretch with one leg bent, back leg straight. Really feeling that lovely stretch down the calf and hamstring, and perhaps raising and lowering that heel. And changing sides. Can we be a little more expanded in the chest, in the breath even, and raising and lowering that heel. And finally, feet apart, hip width apart, coming down, straightening the spine, and feel the opposition of the bum going one way and the crown of head going the other way. Find expansion in the back here. Okay, and walking towards the wall to come up. Okay, we'll just do a few more little stretches, shoulders. This one is lovely. This one. And the head and the neck. So I hope you feel invigorated, maybe a little bit looser as well, perhaps even more expansive. And let's just finish with breathing in, coming down. Breathing in, coming down. And one more to namaste. Thank you for joining me, and may your day be expansive.